segue into Natasia's talking to us now about those kinds of things, job numbers, economics, social policy issues, not in theater, but in other areas, and how change has come about, and what we're happy to hear what she thinks we can be doing in this field too.
Thank you very much. And again, it's a pleasure and honor to share this platform and to discuss this issue. But before I talk about the various paths available to us to travel, I'd like to share with you what I believe to be a critical realization, so to speak. In my travels, having lived in Saudi Arabia, you come back with a different kind of way of looking at life. You look through it maybe through kaleidoscopic colored glasses of some sort, or that's how I like to refer to it. And you realize in order for you to impact change, to have some sort of an impact, you must first face hard truths. Not only about others, but about ourselves. Now, facing the hard truths or realities head on is easier said than done. For the needs of our communities are many and can at times feel like a daunting task. But if not us, who? And if not when? And if not now, when? And whose responsibility is it? We are responsible for each other. For there is only one world, one human race. And so if we were to set aside our artificial barriers of class, economics, ethnicity, education, even gender, you will realize that there are far more things we share in common than we do not. Now, again, speaking the truth can come at a very high price. And I appreciate the candidness I heard today on this panel. I really, really do, especially being in an area that I'm interested in. Now, I'm not a professional advocate, but there is something in me that tells me I cannot remain silent. I truly believe and consider that the real enemies of women, of people of color, anyone wonder what they are?
Themselves.
I'm certain you know them and the likes of them. We commute with them, shop with them, work, live, and die with them. They are called many things, but are best known as denial, silence, and apathy. They are called many things, but are rarely seen apart. They exist most everywhere, between races, ethnicities, genders, and even in our houses of worship. And our refusal to recognize perhaps even our own part, our own role in perpetuating what has become gender discrimination or discrimination of any sort. Sometimes we have to point the finger at ourselves. And once we do that, realizing what we have done, we can bring about change. Denial, silence, and apathy, or I just refer to as DSA, is the very reason why kids are denied access to swimming pools in 2009. It is the very reason why women are forced into sexual servitude, that we are paid 78 cents, 52 cents actually for Native Americans, and of course Black and Latinas are in between. It is the very reason why women who recently exercised their right to vote in Afghanistan lost their fingers. Denial, silence, and apathy. If you are not motivated to do something about what's happening in the lives of women, even if it's not in your immediate life, then we contribute to the problem. It's not just about men. It's about the human race. It's about the human spirit and what it is we choose to do and or consciously, perhaps, even choose not to do. I think in this past national election, in talking with David Plouffe,
you realize that the branding of the possibility of an African American, a black man, being president was something that not even African Americans were necessarily prepared for. Because we knew that there was a protocol. There were people whom we should have expected to give the green light, so to speak. But they helped us to peel back our personal onion and reveal our own prejudices and how we discriminate. And yes, women can discriminate against women, and blacks against blacks, and Latinos against Latinos, and women against women. I look into this audience, and I would have loved to have seen a bit more diversity. Yes, I would have. But we must begin somewhere and sometime. And hence, my conclusion on my private comment about the importance of being part of something rather than nothing. Denial, silence, and apathy, the two enemies of humanity. I believe there are 4 paths to effect change. Not basically call them the 4 L's, actually the 3 L's, because one is not relevant, and one is an N. So let me get the one that we're scrapping. L, leave it alone. Lay down and do nothing. Not an option. Just plain old not an option. You don't even have to spend any more energy on it. 3, that was 4. 3, lead by example. You heard today women talking about them seeking their own funding, realizing they needed to produce, utilizing what's available, utilizing the media. There's a lot of media out there. Put it in their faces so often, so much, yes, they get tired of it, but then you'll find someone else. We've struggled, and I'll talk with you a bit about the New York Women's Agenda and our efforts. We've struggled trying to get the media coverage we rightfully deserve on this issue of pay equity. And we learned there were so many women who didn't even realize they were earning only 78 cents. Today, well-educated women, that Native Americans make 52 cents, that Latinas, I think, make 65 cents. We have a unique opportunity with the advancement of technology to share information. We do it all the time. But we need to be able to grasp those things that really matter, that can impact us, not just individuals, not just whites, not just blacks, not just Asians. We need to be able to pull upon it. If you don't know any, I remember growing up, I